Greetings, traders. This is Mohan here for a new briefing I'd like to do with you on an instrument I call the Trade Bias Identification, or the Trade Bias ID, also abbreviated as TBI. The Trade Bias Identifier is an incredible new indicator that I've developed for facilitating not only any chart that you use. We recommend 450 ticks, which is an incredible measure that I've designed over the years and worked very successfully with, but also for any instrument here. Now, the trade bias identifier are shown here by these reddish colored lines here and these bluish colored lines. Now, stacked up with a boomerang chart, they're really incredible. I spent some time on these, quite some time, trading them live, using them for different things privately, and now I'm releasing them to our public, to our traders and others who come on our sites and find out about them. Now, especially coupled with my special indicator called the price pressure bands, which you see here, these bands here along the side. They just are incredible, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. So the price pressure bands are just added on here so you can see the value. But if you just take a look at the trade bias ID here, the reddish color is a sell. You can see the sell arrow pointing down and see how they're moving lower here. And then you have the blue bias color with an arrow pointing up, and see how they go up. I'll show you a couple things in a minute using this black line. But before I do, let me make sure you understand the risk disclosure and that futures trading is very high risk and only risk capital should be deployed for trading. Now, let me show you how this works. For example, using this black line. This is just going to be a very brief introductory seminar on the trade bias ID. That's, again, red with the sell arrow on these marked on the chart. This will overlay your main chart, and blue for the buy. Now, if they come together and coagulate together like we see a red, a blue, that's really a signal. It serves as an extra signal to use caution for a choppy market. So I'm going to show you the trade bias ID indicator, and I also, like I said, have the price pressure bands on here just so you'll see how combined, what an incredible instrument it is. So here's the first one coming in here on this chart. This is just a random chart starting usually right after we open our Day Traders Action Live room around 10 o'clock, 7 my time on this chart. Here's a sell signal coming in from the trade bias identifier. It's showing the bias of the trade direction. Now, these are for tight scalps. I usually recommend 4 to 5 points, and you can use a stop about that same level. But combined with the price pressure bands, it's absolutely astonishing. So here's a sell. The price pressure bands are open, as you can see here. And in between all this, I've just put this 14 period simple moving average, this orange line in the center here. And that just to kind of keep a measure on where things are going. Look at this. So here's one band starting here. You get a new trade bias identifier here, and if I move this up to the center, or just near the center of this bar, the first one that comes off the signal, you can see that they moved up, 95, let's say 96 to 05. They moved up about 9 points there. If I put it back here in the center here, you can see they've moved down from 94.50 down to 84. There's 10 points there. If I move this up and put it in the center of the bar here from the signal here, you can see that it went up substantially, 75.01 up to 75.17 on the highs there. Just giving you a real brief example of how this can help you in your trading, stacking it up with either a boomerang chart if you're one of our respected boomerang day trader owners, or you just use it for a first time you're experiencing our indicators. You could buy this as a starter indicator, place it on a 450 chart of whatever instrument you want to trade, and watch it give you nice signals. Putting it back here right about in the center of this bar, made a substantial move down from 875. That's 75.08 75 all the way down to 74.87. Substantial move there. Here's a period here where one's going to come in and it's not going to pan out that well. But you see from the center of the arrow here, there weren't any pullbacks, but it did went up and then it collapsed. That's fine. A little bit of a choppy market period here. And again, in the center of this arrow here, they made a move down, came back and tapped it and came down again. So there was an exerted effort holding the uh, center of this first candle to come down and still give you a nice trade. Same thing here. This one shot straight up. You can see when the signal came in. And a lot of these you just practically got to buy or sell them on the opening of the bar here because of the trade bias identifier, because they just shoot straight up, as in the case of this one here. Again, going from the center of the candle, 95.50, went all the way up to 25 handles higher at the peak. Same thing here. If I put this in the center, you can see how accurate it is. It's very consistent. Uh, 14 coming all the way down to 88 for approximately 25, 26 handles there. Again, here in the center, I'm just using the center of the candle where it signals as a measure here. Again, 02 ran up to 14. Here's a little whipsaw where they come down and turn red. They go right back on the buy side, and you get a winning signal there. I mean, like in trading, everything's not going to be a winning signal, but you got to admit, very, very accurate indicator. I've worked for this for quite some time. Like I said, I've been trading live with it. I use it as a regular tool in the room. And this is going to be the last indicator to complete basically our suite of add-on indicators here. This will complete the process. Look at this here. Coming straight down, a long signal here, and a big up move. Short signal here, counter move, and then they go back on the buy side. Again, some whipsaws, natural for these markets. This is a mini NASDAQ. I forgot to mention that. This is a current mini NASDAQ contract here. You can see here, though, but look at the substantial moves often these will give. Right back to back, too. Look at that. Another one. Right back to back here, right? If I put that up in the center just to measure it, look at that. Going all the way down from 074, 76, 03 35, 33 handles lower from the center of the candle where the signal came off. Again, here, it's just a random chart I picked. It's uh, towards the middle uh, of May, I think. Here again, moving up. Little whipsaw here. And then they, once again, it's going to happen. That's part of, the back-to-back signals usually suggest caution because of whipsaw. Okay, so now we're watching for another signal here. Here they come down again. And again, when you combine these with the price pressure bands, it becomes absolutely astonishing what happens. Like you can see here, the price pressure bands are open. There's a signal, down they come. Price pressure bands are open here, not here on this, but on this signal, the price pressure bands are open right here, and down they come. Again, for quick scalps, here's another one up here in the center. If you wait for the price pressure bands open here, and there's a substantial move higher, and again here, price pressure bands are open, but they kind of open with this big wide spread, which is a sign that they're going to be generally an opposite move. Then you see them open up here. So you can see practically every signal they do go in that direction. So you just add the tool of our price pressure bands, and I'm going to have a special package coming up for you soon with instructions on how to use this in a concentrated precision way. That'll be out soon. It's going to be called the Ricochet Trading Package. I'll have that out for you pretty soon here, but I just want to show you this brief introduction to these trade bias ID. Wait and see what's going to happen. You'll be really pleased. Now here again, back to back creates a whipsaw sign. So all you're doing You see the price pressure bands on both sides are not correct, but you wait for a sell signal. In this case, on the sell side, the price pressure bands are open. You go short, and you get a large scale move down, a huge scale move down. In fact, 75.98 came all the way down to 54 for 44 handle move on this one at the peak and the lowest point. And the same thing here coming into the close. Just to give you an idea, this was a one entire session practically I went through, and you can see the accuracy just off the top of my head. It looked like it was about 85%. Let's see, 1 in 10. I would say maybe even pushing 90% just as the signal alone. But again, you combine it with the price pressure bands, and again, I will be developing an entire little scalping system around this called Ricochet, and you'll really like it. So I'll have that soon. But this is just a brief introduction to the trade bias ID, and thank you so much for watching our presentation today.